Hey guys, it's Damien.
And I'm Kenady.
And thank you so much for joining us. Now today we're talking about our top 5 best advice for singles before dating.
So the first one, we want to make sure that your relationship with God is solid. See, when I was single and then I hopped into a relationship, I would cheat on God. And then when that relationship ended, I come back to God, I'm sorry. I'll never do it again. And then I go back into another one and completely forget God. And so God does not want that. And so making sure in your singleness that you have a solid relationship with God, that you are pursuing Him, that He is above everyone and everything else. And so when that person comes along, you won't cheat on Him. You'll continue to honor God in that relationship and seek God's best and seek someone who you're equally yoked with.
So number 2 is know your purpose, or at least know which direction or idea you want to go in. Another thing is know your why. Why did God create you on this earth? Why is this important? Because you want to be going in the same direction. You want to hook with somebody arm in arm or hand in hand going in the same direction. You don't want to be in a relationship where somebody's over here and somebody's going over here. We're continuing to push God's kingdom forward together. We've been hearing a lot of times, especially over the last couple of years, that there's a pastor who marries a young lady and now she's saying, I'm not a pastor's wife. What is that?
So these things you want to make sure that you are communicating with. Maybe you're someone that's I have a desire to give a lot. I mean thousands and tens of thousands. And the person's nah, that's not really how. You don't want to link up with that person.
Yeah.
So putting this first and foremost, so you're not wasting time or not causing contention in marriage if you end up marrying that person.
Know your purpose.
Know your purpose. And so the third one is know your value.
Wow,
again, this was something that I didn't know early on until later when I was spending that time with God and He was showing my value. But if you don't know your value, you'll settle for whatever worth or price someone puts up and treats you. And so you need to know that I have value as a son, as a daughter of the living God. I have value. And so I'm not going to settle for people just, treating me any kind of way. And also when you know your value, you'll know other people's value as well. And you won't be just treating them any other way because it's a two-way street.
That's good. Number 4 is know your standards. We're not talking about the shallow standards. We're talking about deep standards.
Gotta be 6'5".
Yeah, 6'5" or a different type of race or whatnot. See, I had some of those. And that was not really, that was shallow standards.
You didn't want nobody 6'5". You wanted someone shorter, right?
Yeah, that'll be, I'm looking up to the girl yes ma'am, yes ma'am. But one of the things that we talk about all the time is you want somebody who has a fire for God. They really have a genuine and authentic fire for God. They're going to church, not multiple churches. You don't want to date somebody who's literally planted in different churches. Also, you want to date somebody who is not a cheater, right? You don't want somebody who's a toxic person, that they're committed to your relationship. So more standards are somebody who's respectable. You want somebody who respects you, respects your mom, respects the guardians who raised you. Also, somebody who's not controlling. You don't want somebody who's controlling, control everything you do, who you on the phone with, who you on the social media with. You don't want somebody,
that's trust issues.
Yeah, that's trust issues. You want somebody who's not focused mainly on having sex. You want somebody who's willing to wait on marriage. And lastly, you want somebody who desires to communicate through issues. Somebody who desires to communicate, because issues arise in every relationship. But if you have somebody who just shuts off, closes the door, doesn't answer your text, doesn't answer your phone, that is going to be a toxic relationship.
Yeah, so don't settle. Have a standard so you're not wasting your time with any old Joe Smo or Sally Mae, I don't know.
Joe Smo.
And so the last one is bring something to the table.
Wow,
you want to make sure that you're bringing something to the table. A lot of times we have these standards, you got to be this, this, and that. But what are your standards for yourself? What are you bringing to the table? You want to make sure that you are healing and you're in your process where you're healing from the past, that not the past relationship. You're bringing that baggage and that trauma and that damage that happened in the past. You want to make sure that you're healthy enough to enter into another relationship. We all know health is a journey. And so it's never like you arrive.
Yeah.
But are you in a healthy spot to now start dating someone else? Because you don't want toxic things. You don't want to try and use someone to fill a void, because that's not going to work. Only the voids that we have is meant for God to fill. And so we encourage you, if you are single and you have not gotten Damien's book, #completely single, becoming the right one before finding the right one, get it.
Yeah.
It's on Amazon. We'll have a link in the description below. We also have a digital course that go alongside this. We'll have that information as well. But it's time, y'all, that we bring something to the table, that we're not just looking outwardly and like, what can you serve me with? How can you better my life? But what can you bring to the table?
That's so good. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, again, if you want to learn anything about dating versus courting, it's right here. My name is Damien Nash.
And I'm Kenady Nash.
And we'll talk to you next time. Bye.